Chosen ones.
Listen closely, for the atmospheric grid is being realigned in total silence.
You are stepping into a moment
That permanently alters the trajectory of your life, even if the world around you looks unremarkable.
January 22nd,
May appear to be just another date to the sleepwalkers, but for you, it is a stealthy pivot point. This energy doesn't announce itself with thunder. It slips into the core of your reality and changes your direction from the inside out.
You've felt it already, haven't you?
Your thoughts are refusing to sit the same way. Familiar situations are suddenly vibrating at a different frequency.
Even without an obvious catalyst,
Small moments are demanding your absolute attention. Simple choices have suddenly become monumental. Life is adjusting itself in ways you didn't plan and couldn't have predicted.
but before I reveal,
The 5 clear experiences that are manifesting to guide you through this shift, you must anchor your signature
like this video right now,
to signal to the infinite intelligence that you have stopped drifting and started observing.
in the comments below,
I want you to type the code PIVOT5 to lock your frequency into this transition. Type PIVOT5 to declare, I see the patterns. I claim the new direction. I am aligned.
subscribe the holy days and activate the bell.
For in this quiet transformation, this transmission is your only atmospheric radar.
Today,
Brings 7 specific experiences designed to decode what is happening to your reality. If you miss them, the coming days will feel confusing and scattered.
but if you notice them,
Everything will begin to fall into place with divine naturalness. What starts today does not end at midnight.
it is a fundamental
Reprogramming of how you perceive people, how you make decisions, and how you understand timing.
the old scripts are being deleted.
The new movement has already begun.
The pivot is active.
The fog is lifting. Your new trajectory starts now.
Chosen ones.
For January 22nd, 2026 is not merely another fragment of time lost in the dead routines of the sleeping world.
A silent surge.
Seated in the deep stillness of the recent new moon is finally breaking the surface of your physical reality. What began as a whisper in your spirit is now manifesting as a tangible nudge in your 3D life.
You are moving through a day
Of divine alignment, where the ordinary is being meticulously infused with the extraordinary. The seeds you planted in the dark are sprouting. You may notice that things which felt stuck or stagnant just days ago are beginning to move with an unexplainable, effortless momentum.
This is not a coincidence.
It is a cosmic recalibration working through the fabric of your daily existence. The universe is no longer speaking in riddles. It is using the mundane to signal the monumental. A chance encounter, a sudden flash of insight during a routine task, a subtle shift in the tone of a conversation. These are data packets from the divine, guiding you to a higher understanding of your path.
The shackles of
How and when are loosening, replaced by a quiet, irreversible knowing that everything is exactly where it needs to be.
the ancient records.
And the current celestial geometry confirm. We have entered a window where the universe is folding time. The distance between your intention and its realization is collapsing. Your evolution in this window is no longer a product of struggle or force. It is a product of surrender and awareness.
A single prayer.
A focused intention or a moment of honest reflection now carries the energetic weight of 1,000 days of labor.
The spiritual veil is
Thin, and your internal broadcast receiver is being upgraded to house a higher frequency of light.
Do not wait for a thunderclap or a headline.
The miracle of this transition is happening in the middle spaces. It is a gentle participation in the flow of life. Love, support, and connection are becoming more accessible because your vibration is finally matching the reality you have been calling in.
The universe favors
The open heart. As you move through this day, notice what sparks your motivation. Pay attention to the simple instincts that feel right without needing logic.
you are being guided.
By quantum synchronicities that are bridging the gap between who you were and the master you are becoming.
The shift is no longer
Coming. It is here. It is affecting how you respond, how you connect, and how you perceive the very fabric of your future. What seems small today holds the power to reshape your next 6 months.
Your integration is active.
The signal is clear.
Chosen ones,
Pay close attention to the vessel you inhabit. On this day, January 22nd, 2026, your physical and mental architecture is undergoing a profound structural recalibration. The movement that began in the unseen realms during the new moon has now reached your nerve endings. What you might mistake for anxiety, fatigue, or randomness is in fact a high-frequency integration. Your body is no longer just a shell. It has become a biological antenna, vibrating as it receives the new scripts of your existence. You may notice your heart registering events before your mind can even process them. A sudden flutter, a surge of knowing, a tightening that has no logical source. Do not be alarmed. Your heart is the first to detect the timeline shift. The physical symptoms are the evidence of your activation. Sensory adjustments, high-pitched ringing in the ears, or a subtle tingling in the extremities, as if your nervous system is being rewired to handle a higher voltage of light. Muscular resonance, sudden tension in muscles you rarely think about, or an unexplainable urge to move, stretch, or pace. Your body is trying to shake off the heavy residue of the old world. The pulse of awareness. Moments of hyper-alertness followed by waves of deep, non-negotiable exhaustion. This is the divine battery recharging your field. Your thoughts may loop in ways that feel erratic, or memories you haven't touched in years might suddenly flash across your internal screen. This is a system purge. The universe is clearing the cache of your subconscious, surfacing old patterns so they can finally be dissolved. Every unexpected tear, every burst of laughter from nowhere, and every emotional swing is a sign of metaphysical release. You are outgrowing the emotional glue of the old matrix. Your system is refusing to carry the weight of what no longer serves your frequency. Before we proceed to the final revelations, you must signal to the universe that you are conscious of these changes. Like this video right now, to signal to the cosmos that your physical vessel is ready to house this higher frequency. In the comments below, type the number 333 to anchor your physical and mental integration. Type 333 to declare, "My body is a temple of light. I am integrated, I am recalibrated, and I am ready." Subscribe to the Holy Days and turn on the bell. In this window of intense shift, staying aligned with these updates is your only map through the changing terrain of your own DNA. The day itself is testing your ability to remain the observer. By honoring the impulse to pause, by breathing through the surges of energy, and by sitting with the discomfort, you are anchoring a new rhythm. Sensations that feel heavy or confusing right now will be the foundation of your clarity tomorrow. You are not breaking down, you are breaking wide open. The process is real, the movement is intentional, and your integration is unfolding exactly as the great architect designed. The veil is thin. Your body knows. Stay centered in the shift. Now, The potent lunar influence channels an energy designed to illuminate the subterranean chambers of your awareness, those aspects of the self you instinctively retreat from or habitually overlook.
Long dormant fears,
Archived anxieties or residual emotional pain, which you skillfully tucked away in the furthest recesses of your mind, are now buoyed to the visible surface. This presentation is not intended to induce panic or dread. Rather, it is a profoundly compassionate opportunity to finally acknowledge and engage with the parts of your experience that have been patiently awaiting integration. Carl Jung famously termed this the shadow self, that intricate, often misunderstood container holding the avoided, the rejected, and the unexamined. Confronting this shadow, not through struggle, but through gentle observation, invariably yields profound self-understanding and the possibility of genuine emotional liberation. The energetic shift occurring today acts as a powerful gateway, revealing moments where you can clearly discern those entrenched patterns of struggle or the reflexive habits that have kept you cycling in repetition. You might sense an unfamiliar urge to respond to situations differently, or an instinctual pull to pause and ground yourself deeply before any decisive action is taken. These heightened experiences are diagnostic signals, pointing directly to the areas demanding radical honesty, deep reserves of self-compassion, and dedicated, quiet reflection. Even minor daily stresses, those insignificant triggers you usually shrug off, may possess an unexpected, sharp intensity. These are merely the loud signals confirming that layers of stagnant, historical energy are actively being cleared and dissolved. Feelings or difficult situations you once effortlessly minimized or pushed aside now stand before you, politely but firmly demanding recognition. By observing these phenomena dispassionately, without the immediate imposition of self-judgment, you initiate the intricate process of untangling the threads that no longer weave naturally into the fabric of your authentic life. This period is also essential for recognizing the subtle workings of karmic loops. Recurring situations involving specific individuals or familiar locations that you have revisited time and again over the years may reappear, presenting themselves not as a form of cosmic punishment, but as renewed offerings for deeper comprehension. Navigating these layers with profound gentleness and patience allows deep insight into the root cause of these persistent cycles, offering you the chance to respond this time with evolved wisdom rather than automatic repetition. Whether the moment feels bright or challenging, robust or tender, every interaction today serves as an undeniable mirror. The moon portal profoundly amplifies this introspective process, vividly highlighting the precise locations where your most significant growth potential resides. Embracing these multifaceted parts of yourself, rather than expending energy in resistance, is the mechanism that creates the essential inner space necessary for true, lasting equilibrium. What rises to your attention right now is far from random. Dedicating mindful attention to these specific elements sets a quiet, stabilizing foundation for achieving greater internal ease in the unfolding days ahead.
Subsequently,
The entire dynamic turns toward an irrevocable phase of change that originates from the deepest interior layers and radiates outward. What began as a subtle, theoretical realization earlier in the cycle now demands dedicated action, heightened awareness, and unwavering trust in the unseen process. January 22nd serves as a quiet, definitive marker, not defined by external upheaval or dramatic fanfare, but because this is the pivotal moment when the inner work culminates and the resultant inner growth starts unmistakably demonstrating its stabilizing strength. You are not being subjected to a divine test or held up for judgment. You are meticulously being prepared and recalibrated for a fundamentally different, more efficient way of navigating the currents of your existence. The moon provides a profound, sustaining energy for a deep systemic reset that processes thoroughly through your inner energetic layers. Pre-existing limits and self-imposed boundaries, which felt rigid only recently, begin to soften and release their grip, creating expansive inner space where new capabilities and innate talents can begin to flourish. Many sensitive individuals describe this feeling as light codes activating, as if deeply hidden, inherent instructions for functioning better are finally becoming accessible and usable within the DNA. The process isn't about the difficult acquisition of entirely new knowledge. It is a profound act of remembrance, recalling how to effortlessly utilize the latent strength and wisdom that has been integral to your being all along. As a result, the body's energy centers, the chakra points, begin responding in tangible, practical ways. You may suddenly notice your speaking voice taking on a steadier, more resonant quality, your concentration deepening substantially, or your general confidence levels rising naturally without the need for forced effort or mental struggle. This shift is not a coerced, disruptive change. It is the smooth, natural response to your system returning to alignment, organizing the aspects that were previously scattered or in disarray. You are entering a state of grounded steadiness, pulling back from the intensity that once characterized your life. This internal activation doesn't erase challenges from your path, but it radically alters the effective manner in which you meet them. Situations that previously felt exhausting and draining now register as entirely manageable. You find yourself less emotionally reactive, considerably more grounded, and possess an immediate clarity regarding your true priorities. This quiet efficacy is the hallmark of genuine, sustainable growth. Simple, profoundly calm, and highly effective. A significant portion of people will experience a markedly stronger connection to their intuitive intelligence during this period. Decisions no longer necessitate lengthy, exhausting internal debates. You recognize instantly what resonates and what does not, leading to swifter, more effective choices. This is not mere guesswork or hopeful wishing. It is your inner guidance system regaining its natural reliability and authority. Dormant or subtle abilities may emerge quietly. Creativity begins to flow without the painful strain of trying. Problem-solving becomes a significantly smoother, more natural process. You might observe an increased capacity to focus, to systematically organize your environment, or to follow through on commitments. These are undeniable indicators of inner reactivation, not mere happy coincidences. The entire internal system is sinking back into its foundational state of balance. This energetic moment is defined by deep empowerment, not by fear or loss. Nothing essential is being stripped away. Conversely, you are gaining reliable access to stability, natural confidence, and an unshakable trust in your own inner knowing. Growth in this phase does not require excessive struggle or strenuous effort. It simply demands ongoing awareness and a quiet willingness to commit to moving forward without paralyzing doubt. Many individuals spend years anticipating this kind of deep internal transition, wrongly believing it must arrive accompanied by high drama. In truth, the most robust and lasting transformations are often the most calm and consistently steady. They do not overwhelm. They fundamentally support. You are not morphing into an entirely novel person. You are returning to a heightened version of yourself, one that operates more efficiently, processes thoughts with greater clarity, and stands far firmer in its inherent truth. This activation powerfully strengthens what is already fundamentally sound and clears the necessary space for progress that is designed to endure. Allow this entire phase to serve as a vital, stabilizing reminder that authentic growth does not necessarily require pain or suffering to validate its reality. You are not lagging behind any artificial timeline. You are positioned precisely where you need to be for your next evolution. You are stepping into a dynamic phase that structurally supports the emergence of confidence, clear direction, and potent inner strength, all without unnecessary noise or forceful imposition. This transformation begins with awareness quietly spreading across the collective consciousness in ways that do not require external permission or formal structure. One individual subtly alters their reflexive response to stress. Another chooses to pause deliberately before acting on instinct. Yet another makes a firm decision to finally break a repeating ancestral cycle. None of these isolated moments appear dramatic on the surface, yet, when aggregated, they collectively forge a larger, undeniable movement. The internal processes you are navigating are not isolated. They connect directly to a much wider, societal process where countless people are simultaneously adjusting how they perceive, act, and ultimately relate to the world surrounding them. This collective awakening is not formalized, announced on the news, or centrally organized. It grows organically through the mundane, impactful actions of everyday life. Individuals questioning routines that have long proven ineffective, people prioritizing radical honesty over performative pretense, and others consciously stepping back from the societal noise to pay deep attention to what truly holds intrinsic value. Each subtle shift contributes meaningfully to the whole. When a critical mass of individuals shifts internal directions simultaneously, the broader group structure inevitably follows suit. The moon has historically acted as a crucial anchor in these turning points, signaling times when intense inner awareness begins its essential spread into the external world. Following a significant lunar event like this, the ensuing changes do not remain strictly personal. They create ripples, expanding into families, permeating communities, reshaping workplaces, and influencing critical decisions that impact many lives simultaneously. What begins as a private reckoning ultimately becomes outwardly visible through shifts in behavior, reordered priorities, and the emergence of shared, core values. A lunar shift of this magnitude does not force consensus or agreement. Instead, it serves to expose differences and misalignments with greater clarity. Some parts of the collective surge forward toward growth, while others cling stubbornly to resistance against change. This inherent contrast inevitably generates tension, but it also creates undeniable clarity. It sharply delineates where genuine progress is occurring and where necessary transformation is being actively avoided. This dynamic contrast is a fundamental, functional part of collective progress. An energy shift also profoundly impacts how groups respond to pervasive challenges. Old, automated reactions lose their efficacy and grip. New, often practical and deeply grounded responses begin to emerge. You may observe instances of people starting to question deeply entrenched authority, outdated organizational rules, or inherited belief systems that no longer uphold the principles of fairness or truth. This is not anarchic rebellion for the sake of generating chaos. It is necessary societal correction. History demonstrates that all major societal transformations often begin quietly. Before any large-scale social change becomes overtly visible, there is always a critical, sustained period where individuals silently and meticulously reassess their foundational values and priorities. We are situated squarely within that crucial phase now. Many feel an undeniable pull towards simplification, a need to speak with uncompromising honesty, and an exhaustion with pretending that everything is stable when it clearly is not. The cosmic influence underpinning this moment strongly favors cooperation and synergy over relentless competition. It elevates shared responsibility above the singular pursuit of individual gain. When a sufficient number of people integrate this mindset, societal systems begin to adapt. Leadership structures are forced to change, outdated policies shift, and cultural norms evolve. This happens not overnight, but steadily and surely. This particular moment marks a sharp inflection point where collective awareness demonstrably increases. January 22nd, 2026 serves merely as a potent reference marker, not because of any impending spectacle, but because vast numbers of people begin subtly acting and prioritizing differently from that moment onward. Small, conscious changes powerfully compound over time. The wolf moon has long been an ancient symbol of group instinct, shared survival, and the pack mentality. In contemporary terms, it reflects an enhanced capability among people to sense and prioritize collective needs more clearly. There is a palpable increase in concern for equitable fairness, balanced resource distribution, and general well-being that extends far beyond narrow personal benefit. This elevated awareness does not erase conflict entirely, but it fundamentally changes the approach to conflict resolution. Global energy shifts directly influence creativity, innovation, and large-scale cooperation. New concepts emerge that instinctively prioritize long-term sustainability, radical inclusion, and future-oriented thinking. Old methods, reliant on manipulative control or inducing fear, rapidly lose their power and effectiveness. People become less responsive to external pressure and demand greater transparency and ethical accountability. You may observe a sharp increase in vital discussions surrounding responsibility, professional ethics, and existential purpose. These collective conversations reflect a societal recalibration toward meaning. People are actively seeking meaning and contribution, rejecting distraction and mere consumption. This deep shift will gradually impact global markets, educational philosophies, healthcare structures, and systems of governance over the coming years. Collective awakening does not mandate universal agreement. It means that significantly more individuals are awake to consequences. Decisions are weighed far more carefully. Short-term gains are critically questioned. Long-term, holistic impact becomes the primary metric. The moon's influence during this specific period strongly supports deep internal reflection, immediately followed by focused action. Awareness alone is insufficient. Meaningful change demands follow-through and sustained effort. Many will feel compelled to adjust their daily habits, professional roles, and long-term commitments to fully align with their emerging values. This process inherently challenges complacency. Comfort zones naturally shrink. Growth requires a measure of discomfort, but it also rapidly builds profound resilience. Communities become significantly more adaptable when individuals willingly take honest responsibility for their specific part. Global shifts frequently feel uneven and disruptive. Progress flourishing in one region often contrasts sharply with stubborn resistance in another. This unevenness generates friction, yet it is this friction that creates essential momentum. Pressure steadily builds where change is most critically needed. The prevailing collective energy now universally favors authenticity.
Performative, superficial behavior
Loses its cultural appeal, while genuine, meaningful contribution gains widespread respect and credibility. This transition affects media consumption, expectations of leadership, and fundamental social dynamics. You are an inescapable part of this expansive process, regardless of your conscious intention. Your actions send signals that influence others. Your choices model new possibilities. Collective change is fundamentally dependent upon individual integrity. This awakening intensely emphasizes interdependence. What critically affects one group will inevitably affect all others downstream. Awareness of this interconnected, seamless reality is growing exponentially stronger. Isolation, as a viable strategy, becomes impossible. As more people recognize their shared responsibility, collaborative efforts naturally increase. Solutions emerge through synergistic cooperation rather than combative competition.
This doesn't eradicate
Conflict, but it profoundly reframes it as a mutual problem to be solved together. The Moon will continue to mark the evolving phases of this evolution. Each subsequent cycle brings renewed opportunities to adjust course and refine strategy. Collective awareness is not static. It dynamically grows through lived experience. This current segment of the journey focuses sharply on recognition, clearly seeing our current position, openly acknowledging what systems are failing, and personally accepting the responsibility required for change. When a sufficient number of individuals successfully execute this internal work, the collective inevitably follows, not through external coercion, but through the compelling power of shared example. Change spreads when people tangibly see that a better way is truly possible. This awakening is not a pursuit of perfection. It is a commitment to continuous progress. Missteps and errors will occur. Corrections and adjustments will inevitably follow. The powerful energy supporting this current shift favors profound learning over destructive blame, sustainable growth over debilitating stagnation, and committed participation over passive observation. As this necessary process continues, you will witness a heightened emphasis on shared common goals, a sharply decreasing tolerance for systems designed to cause harm, and a greater public demand for ethical accountability. The collective does not move as a single, unified mind, but as many aligning intentions, all facing the same horizon. This powerful alignment strengthens reliably over time. You are actively bearing witness to the early foundational stages of a much broader, deep-rooted transformation. It is far from finished. It is unfolding dynamically through the conscious choices being made every single day. Chosen ones, understand this. The journey you are navigating is not a solitary path. It is the grand symphony of collective consciousness, a divine dance where every step you take resonates with millions of other awakened souls. This is not a spectator event. It is a profound, non-negotiable invitation for your active participation. The true architecture of change is not built with thunderous global events. It is constructed in the quiet, micro moments. The split seconds where you choose a different reaction, speak your raw truth, or simply pause to listen to the whisper of the divine within. The greatest lesson of this frequency is the alchemy of resilience and faith. True expansion rarely occurs within the suffocating safety of the known. It demands the sovereign courage to stand in the fog of uncertainty and the patience to walk through the shadows of unresolved karma. The universe does not demand your perfection. It demands your authenticity. Every challenge you face is not a barrier. It is a meticulously designed opportunity to flex your internal power and demonstrate your ability to adapt. You are being forged in the fire of uncertainty to emerge with a clarity that the matrix cannot dim. Never underestimate the quantum ripple created by the small choices you make every day. Each time you choose kindness over judgment, transparency over concealment, and collaboration over competition, you are planting the seeds of the new Earth. The energetic currents of the cosmos are now flowing in favor of those who dare to live consciously and lead by example. In the weeks and months ahead, let your heightened awareness be your only compass. Every sincere word and every act of compassion is a brick in the bridge leading to a higher state of being. To seal this transmission and lock in the momentum of your future, you must anchor your intention one final time. Like this video right now to signal to the great architect that you accept your role as a co-creator of this miracle. In the comments below, type the number 999. Type 999 to declare, "I am the lighthouse, I am the miracle, I accept the end of the old and the birth of the new. I am ready." Subscribe and hit the bell to stay connected to this frequency. You are the architect, and these updates are your blueprints. Chosen ones, you hold a latent power, an innate ability to innovate, adapt, and manifest. You are not alone. The very fabric of existence is rising to meet you. Your presence is significant. Your contribution is invaluable. Step forward with unshakable faith, with a mind of crystalline clarity and a heart overflowing with divine love. You are not just watching the miracle unfold, you are the miracle. The portal is closing, the integration is complete. Welcome to your new timeline.